Nolan Jones Sr., a man of great character and historical significance. Nolan Jones was born on February 27, 1913, in Houma, Louisiana, in Terrebonne Parish. He was raised in the traditional customs and practices of the Houma Indians, such as how to stop a bleeding nose with two sticks intersecting where the blood drips onto the intersection, and a reverence for nature. As a young boy, he learned to live off the land in the traditions of his native forefathers by hunting and fishing. The United Houma Nation is the largest Native American tribe in the state of Louisiana. They are a resilient people who survived betrayal and war with other native tribes in the 1700s to 1800s to become almost extinct, while enduring their sacred land being usurped from under their feet by deceptive land grant practices and the nullification of the verbal agreements established. One can readily attest that many deceptive practices were used against the Houma Indians, yet they remain by the will of the great Creator. Nolan Jones was the grandson of Joseph Verrett and the son of Marie Josephine Ada Verrett, born on December 9, 1876. According to the historian Roberta Estes's book titled The Houma Indians of Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana, the Houma Indians were the primary groups founded in the early 1800s and 1900s, and the word Houma or Houma means red in French, is a shortened form of the word Saxi Homa, the name of the Chachikuma, meaning red crawfish. Moreover, the Houma Indians chose the red crawfish as their emblem because of its bravery and refusal to back down from anything, even unto death. The United Houma Nation flag on the left is the courtesy of Flag Expo. Nolan Jones was commissioned by his ailing father, Peter Jones, who later died, to take care of his mother and sisters. Despite Nolan being a mere child at the age of 12, he upheld his promise to his father and discontinued attending the Indian school to enter the workforce full time. In 1925, there were no child labor laws to prohibit such practices in the United States of America. Nolan Jones's first job at the age of 12 was on a seafood boat that traveled the Gulf of Mexico and the outskirts of the Atlantic Ocean. He inadvertently dropped the anchor as his hands were small and was harshly admonished by the captain to retrieve the anchor in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Later, Nolan described the experience as, "He swam like a fish." Nolan Jones was part of an industrial revolutionary economy which placed little value on human life. All that mattered was profit. Children were often required to forfeit their education to help the family obtain subsistence wages. Nolan may have earned a mere 5 cents a day as he was taken advantage of because of his age and race. Nolan also endured abusive work practices that troubled his mind and injured his soul all the days of his life. Nolan Jones moved to New Orleans, Louisiana in 1933 at the age of 20. He spoke fluent French, as was customary for Houma Indians due to Louisiana being under the French control from 1682 to 1762 and 1801 to 1803. Nolan parlayed his ability to speak French to working at a bakery as a chef and continued using his culinary talents for the duration of his life, as he often baked for his children and grandchildren cinnamon rolls, donuts, fruit pies, and birthday cakes. Nolan Jones later worked selling Lucky Heart products in New Orleans, Louisiana. He was referred to as Doc. He always carried himself in a very mature way, as everyone he encountered held him in high esteem, including James Jimmy Dunbar II, the firstborn son of the renowned Dunbar family, who told the young maiden Frances Inez Dunbar, his youngest sister, "Little bit, I hear Doc likes you, and anybody who is good to their mammy will be good to you." Nolan Jones met the beautiful and lovely Frances Inez Dunbar from Woodville, Mississippi in 1938. He was smitten with love at first sight, as he would often catch her walking home from work and say to her, "Say, girl, I've got my eye on you." Frances was the apple of his eye who later became the love of his life. They wed on June 29, 1941, and their relationship stood the test of time, lasting 52 years until death did them apart. Nolan Jones served his country with distinct honor and valor during World War II. Following the war, he established a residency in Wichita, Kansas. As many Native Americans demonstrated profound patriotism by registering to serve in the military during World War II, they were categorized systematically as white or black and rarely recognized as who they were, Native Americans. Nolan Jones worked for Dodlinger and Sons Construction for well over 40 years. Nolan had a hand in building many of the buildings and monuments that are in existence today, such as the Century II, the Henry Leavitt Arena, and the Wichita Mid-Continent Airport, later upgraded and renamed to the Dwight D. Eisenhower Airport. Nolan Jones also built single-handedly, without the aid of a construction crew, Shadow Lane Cafe and Auntie Sweet's Barbecue Cafe, and several structurally sound homes in the Wichita community. Shadow Lane Cafe was the first of its kind to feature a patriotic room painted by Nolan with red, white, and blue stripes and stars. The cafe was built in the 1960s. Nolan Jones held on to his Houma Indian training and teachings throughout his lifetime. He maintained a reverence for nature and grew beautiful flowers, a vegetable garden, and the best custom-designed birdhouses. As a little girl, he taught his granddaughter how to nurse back to health an injured bird without touching it directly, to enable the bird to be accepted back into its bird family and habitat. Nolan Jones Sr. is the grandfather and father of many nations, as his lineage is continued on through his 5 children, 10 grandchildren, 20 great grandchildren, and 2 great great grandchildren, whose names are John and Amaya, 6 and 7 years of age, respectively. Nolan Jones Sr. passed away in March 1993 at the age of 80. However, his great legacy lives on through his posterity. Nolan Jones Sr.'s legacy of greatness continues through his sons from left to right. Peter Jones, named after Nolan Jones's father, who died when he was a 12-year-old child. Frances Inez Jones, his wife, who lived to be a little shy of reaching 100 years. Dr. Nolan Jones, and Kyrie Jones, his grandson. For indeed, without question, Nolan Jones Sr. is the father of many nations.